Hello, I'm here with the new book from Joe Sacco, The Once and Future Riot, published by Metropolitan Press. Just came out. I'm not sure exactly when, but hasn't been out for very long, maybe a week or so, I think. And in this one, it's more journalism. And from what I've heard, I think this might be his last bit of comics journalism. I seem to remember reading an interview where he said he was kind of done doing this. This one is a new locale, as opposed to Eastern Europe or Palestine. This one is in India, and he digs deep into the conflicts between Hindus and Muslims. He deals with a certain area, Uttar Pradesh, but you really get the feeling reading this that these problems are pervasive throughout the whole country and have been since the partition back in the late 40s. As you can see, these are some beautiful pages, as usual. Dense, lush. It's the usual Joe Sacco method. He goes around, talks to a bunch of people, has a guide to help him, a guide who was a journalist in India. And he goes and talks to people on all sides of the conflict and all kinds of different stations. And really digs into the history of the conflict as well. I will say, this is, for a Sacco book, it feels a little thin. It's 130 something pages. Very dense, as Sacco is wont to do, but we've gotten used to these big beefy books of his. And frankly, I don't know that you could have gotten your hands around this subject fully if he had had 1,000 pages to work with. It just seems immense. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on what's going on over there at all. I know a little bit, and that's about it. Know a little bit more thanks to this book. So if you're at all interested, I would recommend it. If you're interested in man's inhumanity to man, then I would recommend it, much like other Sacco books. It chronicles cruelty, prejudice, the suppression of the other by those in power, the complicity of people alongside ethnic or religious lines. Frankly, it's pretty depressing, and I'm betting it could have been way more depressing the more he had delved into it. It's pretty rough stuff. But that said, I think, Sacco really digs in here, and I just marvel at these pages. They're all gorgeous. Just look how beautiful this stuff is, these walls back here. Yeah, really beautiful pages. He does not skimp all these crowd scenes. Those are all individual people. Really great stuff. Sacco's authorial voice comes in loud and strong. He captions everything as he's going. And he lets a lot of these people sort of damn themselves with their comments as, they make outlandish claims as to the innocence of either themselves or their sectarian brethren. I mean, look at this page here. Look how just incredible that is. So anyway, entering this world for the first time, really, it's a lot. There are a lot of names, a lot of geographical locations. It's really too much to try to keep up with, and this book would probably reward 2 or 3 readings, maybe one after the other, frankly. But yeah, great stuff. As usual with Sacco, he points these things out. You know, you can definitely kind of see a side he's coming down on, but he's not proselytizing. You know, he's sort of just giving you everything, showing you that there are bad actors on all sides, but that at least one of the sides tends to have more wealth, more power, more interest in maintaining a status quo or changing the status quo for their own ends. Anyway, great stuff. It's slim enough that you can kind of read it in one sitting, but meaty enough that there's a lot there. If this is the last bit of comics journalism he engages in, you know, I'm not going to say he went out on his best book, because this is not his best book, but it's still a hell of a good book. And if you admire Sacco, this is worth reading. If you've ever wanted to try him, this is also worth reading. Though it's, like I said, I would probably recommend something like Footnotes in Gaza or Safe Area Garage, or of course the always relevant Palestine. But yeah, good book, worth getting. Metropolitan Books. I'm sure it's available pretty much everywhere. I believe this thing had a pretty giant print run, so it should be available and easy to find. But yeah, gets my highest recommendation. Joe Sacco's been one of the best working cartoonists for, you know, the better part of 30 years, and that hasn't changed. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next. Thanks.